you believe in God, if you are truly a descendant of Abraham, you will know that his blessings are going to be upon your life and the life of your children, your children's children, because he is a God that never fails. He is a God that never goes back on his word. He said, I will be with you until the end of time, and he is with you. I want you to know that. I want you to believe that. Have you ever looked back on something that once felt random? It could be a delayed flight, maybe a wrong turn that you took, or maybe someone, a stranger you met, or a conversation you had in a flight. And later on, after the moment passed, you look back and you say, it wasn't a coincidence. It was not just random the way you thought it was. Because in that moment, God was arranging something. Have you ever thought about that? We tend to call them coincidences, but I believe that there are just coordinations that God is working or placing, because there is one random conversation you had with someone, and for the life of you, you cannot even remember the person, but you remember vividly what the conversation was and how that conversation changed your outlook on certain things. I want us to talk about that today, because there are no coincidences, but only divine providence. And I've had seasons where things didn't line up the way exactly how I wanted it to, or as I had planned. And I only found out how every little detail later on did I see that it was for a purpose. God was working like he always does, placing with different coordinates, one at a time. And the more I work God, the more I realize that nothing just happens. Nothing just happens out of a blue. Because God's fingerprints, it's often easier to see in hindsight. Yeah, you go through it in that moment, you're not thinking much of it. But down the line, a day or two or three, you realize it was never a coincidence. That person you met, I still have conversation with a random person I met on the airplane on my way to Spain. That was 3 years ago. And so I believe, because I've had crazy experiences, and I want us to talk about that. Yeah. Every breath, every encounter, every closed door or open door or crisis that we face in life, it's by design. This is my belief. And when I say there are no coincidences, just divine providence. Providence doesn't always have to feel powerful, because when I say that, or when people often hear that, they think something um majestic, something super ordinary. But no, it is often the ordinary things often looks very ordinary. Just our everyday, day-to-day things. It's a phone call at the right time, or a delay that keeps you safe, or a conversation that changes your entire direction or your entire outlook of life or the world. And sometimes the world, or we tend to call it luck. But in hindsight, or in honesty, I believe it's fate, and I believe it's called love. And perhaps you may not see it in the same light like I am right now, but I know that God is always orchestrating, designing your life. And I'm going to tell you how he did that with Joseph. We've all heard about the story. We all know the story of Joseph, especially because we're Christians. We all know the story of Joseph. We know that Joseph's brother threw him in a pit. He was abandoned, he was sold, and years later on, they found out that he was the governor of Egypt. And what the turn, or what they meant for evil towards their brother Joseph, turned out to be for good. It was providence. It was all by design. It was how God wanted everything to work out. It wasn't a coincidence that his brothers had to throw him in the pit, and that he later on, even when his bigger brother came to save him, Reuben, couldn't find him because they had sold him. They did not kill him, they sold him. So everything was arranged for him to go become governor because he needed to go ahead of his brothers, ahead of his family, because he needed to be the one to save his family. Just like he had seen in the dreams and the visions, you know. But maybe you're in the season where you're in a pit. Maybe your season is called, if I may call it, pit season. You're in a pit right now. You don't see the patterns. You don't see how it could feel good. You don't see how random it could feel. But trust me, trust that God never wastes a moment. God will never waste a moment. Yeah, so every delay, every detour, every conversation, every disappointment, even it's a way of God. God is working. God is working, guys. God is working. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how else to tell you, but I know and I trust and I, in my heart of hearts, I know that God is working because I met this person a couple of years when I was going to Spain, and I had this conversation with him that changed the way. It was about um how you can walk within the European countries essentially, and how he was doing it. It changed my mind, or he gave me another look on things, and the number of citizenships that he had. I didn't even know it was possible for you to be in UK and work in Spain and work in Belgium and like all of these things. It was I'm just giving you guys a little bits of the conversation. It was a lot more, but the gist of it, of the whole thing, is I got to learn that there are ways, or based on what your background is in, or the things you can do essentially. So it opened my mind in that light that I never seen, or things, possibilities that I never thought about in that direction. So career wise, if there was ever some time that I needed to move to Europe, that I needed to do one or two things in Europe, I know where to go to, or who to talk to, or something, the places where I can get information from. And this was just a person I met at the airport. It was just an random person, random person. So maybe this is your season where things are not making sense. And we know that in all things, God work for the good of those who love Him. That is in Romans, not in some things, not in easy things, but in all things, God work for the good of those who love Him. And I know that as Christians, we love to plan. As humans in general, we love to make plans, but we can plan and plan and plan and plan, but only God can align the things, the time, the place, the people, the word, the right words, or the right door, or the right person in your life when the time is right. Because He said so. When the time is right, I will make it happen. He's not a God that does not keep to His promise. There is not a word or a thing that He says He will do that He cannot do. So I want you to think about the number of times you have accidentally crossed path with the right person, or with the right opportunity, or with the right um purpose. It wasn't a coincidence. It was not coincidence. It was just alignment. It was God's placing His coordinates like He always does, you know? Because if we continue to plan and God is not a part of it, it is not going to work out. Because He's working for the good of those who love Him. He will always do. And sometimes providence may look like prevention. The job that you don't like, or the relationship that just ended, or the door that just closed, or it may feel like rejection. But trust and believe that it's redirection. God has a way. God has a way of keeping us safe, of keeping His children safe, and from the wolves, or just keeping us safe in general from things that we may not see will come later on to appreciate Him. So I want you to look back a year through this, look back this throughout this year. Let's not go far. Just look back this year. Trust and believe. I know that you may see a pattern, you will see a pattern, and you will see moments that God moved, that God's hand was on your situation or your matter that you did not see in that moment. It wasn't an accident. You will notice a pattern. And when you do look back throughout this year, I want you to take a moment. I want you to feel the moment. I want you to thank God for the moment, because now you can see that God's hand was in it all along. So maybe it was not a delay that changed your plans. Maybe it was a conversation that reignited your faith. Maybe what was ending, or what you thought was an ending, was the beginning of something new. So take those moments, rename them. It wasn't a coincidence. Because once you learn to see God in the small things, you will see Him, you will trust Him in the big ones, in the bigger things, and gratitude will flow easily, easily. And as this year comes to an end, I come to a close, I want you to take comfort knowing that God is not done with you. God is not a time waster. God is a God of chances, of opportunity, of blessings. I want you to know that God has a plan for you. As the year comes to an end, He will not leave you, He will not forsake you, because He says so, right? And He promised the descendants of Abraham, He promised the descendants of Isaac and Jacob, and He said to him that He will bless them, He will bless His descendants like the sand on the seashore, His children, His wealth, everything. So if you believe in God, if you are truly a descendant of Abraham, you will know that His blessings are going to be upon your life and the life of your children, your children's children, because He is a God that never fails. He is a God that never goes back on His word. He said, I will be with you until the end of time, and He is with you. I want you to know that. I want you to believe that God is never going to let you be. And I want you to tell Him that you are not going to let Him go too. You will not let Him be. Even when He blesses you, let He continue to go ahead of you. May He continue to lead your path. May He continue to be with you in every step of the way as you move into this year. May this year be wonderful. May it be prosperous. May it be filled with abundance. Okay? And I hope you have a fantastic Christmas holiday. May the next year comes with all the wonders and the merries that the Lord has in store for you. Thank you guys so much. If this is your first time hearing my voice, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being a part of this community. And I hope to see you next year. And I hope you will come around. You will stick by me. You will say Happy New Year. You will say Happy Christmas. And I am so thankful for all the blessings. I am so thankful for all your support. I am so thankful for all the wonderful encouragements that you have been living on this page, on this channel. May God bless you abundantly. And may you, I pray you know this, that He is working for your good. He is going to keep working. He is never going to abandon you. He's not the kind of God. He keeps His promises. Even when you feel like you're in the moment of pit, or you're in the season where you feel like you're in a pit, He is still rooting for you. And He is going to come through for you, because He always does. He always does. Happy Christmas and have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. I'll see you 2026. Have a wonderful one. Stay faithful, stay blessed. See you next year. And I am your host, Emezy. Bye.